Hello guys, welcome to yet another wonderful session of learning with Prep Class. My name is Tutor Olalikon Israel, your Prep Class English tutor, and I am super excited to have you join me in today's session of learning. Now in today's session, we will be answering questions 11 to question 15 from the WAEC English 2017 past question. Remember, the purpose of this session is to help you prepare for your forthcoming WAEC examination. So, without wasting much time, let's proceed. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to this channel, turn on the post notification so you can be notified whenever we upload any new content. Alright, let's begin. Now for question 11 to 15, we have an instruction here. The instruction reads, from the words lettered A to D, choose the word that best completes each of the following sentences. From the words lettered A to D, choose the word that best completes each of the following sentences. Question 11 reads, Mr. Uche was trying to dash a list of his debtors. Mr. Uche was trying to dash a list of his debtors. A. Mr. Uche was trying to compare a list of his debtors. B. Mr. Uche was trying to compose a list of his debtors. C. Mr. Uche was trying to compound a list of his debtors. D. Mr. Uche was trying to compile a list of his debtors. So, which of these options is the best to complete this sentence? Now, to compare means to estimate, to measure. Okay, this will actually mean that Mr. Uche has what different list of debtors. He's not trying to compare, to estimate, to measure, or note the similarity or dissimilarity between. No. Option B, compose, means to write or create, especially a work of art, like music or poetry. To write, to think or create. Option C, compound, means to bring together or join, to mix or amalgamate. Maybe Mr. Uche has what more than 3 lists of debtors. He's trying to compound and bring them together into one. But the answer, the best option to fill this blank space is option D, compile. Mr. Uche was trying to compile, to produce a list or book by assembling information collected from other sources. So assemble, to gather, to put together. Mr. Uche was trying to gather a list of his debtors. He was trying to compile them into one place. Okay, Mr. Awale is owing me money. Mr. Daniel is owing me money. Mrs. Choma is owing me money. He's trying to compile a list of his debtors, trying to bring them together, trying to assemble them together. He's trying to gather the list of his debtors together. He's trying to put them together in a list. So the answer is option D. Mr. Uche was trying to compile a list of his debtors. Not compare, not compose, not compound, but compile. Alright, moving on to the next question, question 12. He tried to dash the house mistress by entering the hostel through the back door. Remember, we had to select the option that best completes this sentence. He tried to dash the house mistress by entering the hostel through the back door. A. He tried to reject the house mistress by entering the hostel through the back door. B. He tried to repel the house mistress by entering the hostel through the back door. C. He tried to evade the house mistress by entering the hostel through the back door. D. He tried to deflect the house mistress by entering the hostel through the back door. Now, the answer to this question is option C, evade. He tried to evade the house mistress by entering the hostel through the back door. To evade means to escape or avoid someone or something. So he was trying to avoid the house mistress by entering the hostel through the back door, because he knows that if he goes through the front door, he's going to see the house mistress. So he's trying to evade that. He's trying to avoid that. So he's what? Trying to go through the back door. Now, it is not reject. Reject means to refuse, to turn down, or to decline. It is not repel. Repel means to drive or force an attack or an attacker back or away. Trying to force an attack or an attacker back or away. Nobody was trying to attack the house mistress here. So there was no need for anybody to repel. It is not deflect, because deflect means to cause something to change direction. Turn aside from a straight course, to divert. But evade. Evade means to escape or avoid. He tried to avoid the house mistress. Maybe this person has committed an offense. So if he goes through the front door, he's going to bump into the house mistress. But now he tried to go through the back door so as to avoid the house mistress. He tried to evade the house mistress by entering the hostel through the back door. The answer to this question is option C. Alright, moving on to the next question, question 13. Remember, we had selected the option that best completes this sentence. Question 13 reads, he gives the dash that he was wealthy, but he really isn't. A. He it gives the impression that he was wealthy, but he really isn't. B, it gives the opinion that he was wealthy, but he really isn't. C, it gives the attribute that he was wealthy, but he really isn't. D, it gives the indication that he was wealthy, but he really isn't. So which of these options is the best to complete this sentence? Now, an impression refers to an idea, feeling, or opinion about someone or something, especially one formed without conscious thought or on the basis of little evidence. So the answer is impression. It gives the impression that he was wealthy, but he really isn't. It just gives what? A kind of feeling or idea that he's wealthy, but he really isn't. Maybe because of the way he dresses, the way he walks, it gives an impression that he was wealthy, but he really isn't. Now, it is not opinion. An opinion refers to a view or judgment formed about something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. An attribute refers to a quality or feature regarded as a characteristic or inherent part of someone or something. An indication refers to a sign or piece of information that indicates something. It gives the impression that he was wealthy, but he really isn't. Now, the answer is option A, impression. To give the impression means what? You try to make someone or people think about you in a particular way. So it gives the impression that he was wealthy, but it really isn't. Now, to give the impression means you try to make someone or people think about you in a particular way. But in this sentence now, it's giving the impression, it's making people think about him was that he's wealthy. The impression this person gives here is the impression of wealth, but it really isn't wealthy. So the answer is option A. It gives the impression that he was wealthy, but it really isn't. Right. Moving on to the next question, question 14. Frank was dashed in the riot because his books were found at the scene. A. Frank was blamed in the riot because his books were found at the scene. B. Frank was caught in the riot because his books were found at the scene. C. Frank was implicated in the riot because his books were found at the scene. D. Frank was grafted in the riot because his books were found at the scene. Now, the answer to this question is option C, implicated. Frank was implicated in the riot because his books were found at the scene. Now, to be implicated means to show that someone was involved in a crime. Now, what shows that Frank was involved in the crime? His books found at the scene. To be implicated means to compromise, to incriminate, to be involved. Frank was involved in the riot, and this was as a result of his books that were found at the scene. As a result of his books found at the riot scene, Frank was implicated. This means that Frank's notebook gave him away. Frank's notebooks gave him away. They showed that he was involved in the riot. They implicated him. The answer is option C. Frank was implicated in the riot because his books were found at the scene. Right. Moving on to the next question, question 15. Remember, we had to select the option that best completes this sentence. Question 15 reads, the insurance company dashed my uncle for the loss of his car. The insurance company dashed my uncle for the loss of his car. A. The insurance company redeemed my uncle for the loss of his car. B. The insurance company relieved my uncle for the loss of his car. C. The insurance company compensated my uncle for the loss of his car. D. The insurance company paid my uncle for the loss of his car. Now, the answer to this question is option C, compensated. The insurance company compensated my uncle for the loss of his car. To compensate means to give someone something. To compensate means to give something. That is to give someone something. Typically money in recognition of loss. In recognition of loss, suffering, or injury incurred to recompense. So for the loss of his car, my uncle was compensated by the insurance company. An insurance is an arrangement by which a company or the state undertakes to provide a guarantee of compensation for specified loss, damage, illness, or death in return for payment of a specified premium. Now, an insurance premium is the amount of money an individual or business pays for an insurance policy. Now, when you are taking an insurance, you pay a specified amount of money monthly, or maybe weekly or yearly, as the case may be. That money is called premium. Now, that premium is going to serve as a guarantee of compensation for loss, damage, illness, or death. So probably if you are taking a car insurance, if your car gets lost or damaged, the insurance company is going to pay you a compensation. In the case of death, for life insurance, the family or the next of kin would receive the compensation. So the insurance company compensated my uncle for the loss of his car. They paid him for the loss of his car. The answer is option C. And with that, we've come to the end of this wonderful session. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. If you enjoyed this video, click on the like button. Do not forget to drop your questions in the comment section. Also share this content with your friends and loved ones. Do not forget to turn on your post notifications so you can be notified whenever we upload any new content. See you in the next video. Bye.